Level 1, the initiate. It starts with a call at 2:13 a.m. No caller ID, no hesitation. You answer anyway. Be outside in 5 minutes. The line goes dead. You don't ask questions, not because you're disciplined, because something in your gut tells you this isn't optional. The street is empty when you step out. No traffic, no noise, just a black sedan idling under a broken streetlight. The rear door opens. You get in. No one speaks for the next 40 minutes. The windows are tinted. The air smells like leather and something metallic, clean, sterile, wrong. A folder slides across the seat. Your name is on it. Every address you've lived in for the past 10 years. Every job. Every mistake you thought no one saw. You've already been evaluated, the man beside you says. His voice is calm, measured. You're here because you're useful. You want to ask for what? You don't. Instead, you flip the last page. A number is written in black ink. Rupee 10, 00000. First task, he says. Completion buys you entry. Failure removes the problem. You understand what problem means. They drop you off at a hotel on the outskirts of the city. Room 417. Inside, there's a photo, a name, a time. 7:30 a.m. You sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the face you're supposed to erase. Your hands don't shake. That surprises you. What surprises you more is how quickly you start planning. Entry points, exit routes, timing. By sunrise, you're already someone else. And by 7:32 a.m., it's done. Clean, quiet, efficient. You leave no trace. But something stays with you. Not guilt. Clarity. You understand the rules now. You're not joining something. You're being absorbed. Level 2, the proving ground. They don't congratulate you. They don't need to. The next message comes 3 hours later. Coordinates, time, no words. You arrive at a warehouse near the port. Rusted gates. Cameras you can't see but know are there. Inside, 10 others stand in silence. No names exchanged. No eye contact. A man in a gray suit walks the line, studying each of you like inventory. You're all temporary, he says. Only a few of you will become permanent. A table is rolled out. Weapons, documents, burner phones. You don't work together, he continues. You compete. The tasks begin immediately. Surveillance assignments, courier drops, information retrieval. Nothing flashy, everything precise. You follow a target for 6 hours through crowded markets without losing distance. You swap a briefcase in a moving train without being noticed. You memorize faces, routines, patterns. Mistakes aren't corrected. They're eliminated. By the end of the week, only 6 of you remain. You stop wondering what happened to the others. That question becomes irrelevant. What matters is this. You're still here. And you're getting better. Faster decisions. Colder instincts. Less hesitation. The money increases. 300,000 per task now. But money isn't the reward. Survival is. One night, you catch your reflection in a glass window. You don't recognize the expression. Not fear. Not excitement. Just focus. You realize something quietly, without emotion. You're not trying to leave anymore. You're trying to stay. Level 3, the trusted hand. They give you a name. Not your real one. A designation. Unit 317. It replaces everything. You're assigned handlers now. One voice, one point of contact. Orders come with context. Not much, but enough to understand impact. Target is a financier, your handler says. Moves 80 crore monthly through shell corporations. Disrupt the flow. This isn't just elimination. This is strategy. You spend days building the operation. Fake identities, digital footprints, banking routes. You infiltrate his network, not his body. When it's over, his accounts collapse overnight. No violence. But the result is the same. You've erased him. That's when you understand the real currency. Not money. Not kills. Control. The network starts trusting you. Bigger tasks. Longer timelines. More autonomy. You're no longer reacting. You're executing. And with that comes access. Encrypted systems, internal briefings, fragments of the structure above you. You learn there are layers you haven't seen. People who never touch the ground. You start to wonder how high it goes. But you don't ask. Because curiosity isn't rewarded here. Results are. Still, something shifts. You sleep less. You think more. Every interaction becomes calculated. Every relationship becomes a potential liability. You stop calling old contacts. You stop visiting familiar places. Not because you're told to. Because you know. This life doesn't allow overlap. There's no before anymore. Only progression. Level 4, the operator. Your assignments become surgical. High-value targets, tight windows, zero tolerance for error. You're flown across borders under identities that don't exist. Berlin, Dubai, Singapore. Each city feels the same. Temporary, functional, disposable. You operate alone now. No competition. No observation. Just expectation. One mission lasts 72 hours. A diplomat with immunity. Untouchable on paper. Not in reality. You track his movements through private events, secure convoys, encrypted schedules. You find the gap. There's always a gap. The execution takes 9 seconds. By the time his security reacts, you're already gone. That's when they start using a different tone. Less instruction. More assumption. You know what to do. And you do. Efficiency becomes instinct. Violence becomes procedural. You stop seeing targets as people. They're variables. Obstacles. Outcomes. The money climbs past rupee 50, 0.00000 per operation. But it feels irrelevant. You don't spend it. You don't need to. Everything you require is provided. Travel, housing, resources. Freedom in a way. But not really. Because you can't choose when to stop. One night, sitting alone in a high-rise apartment, you realize something uncomfortable. You're very good at this. And that's the problem. Because the better you get, the harder it becomes to leave. Level 5, the insider. You're brought into a room you've never seen before. No windows, no devices. Just 5 people seated around a table. They don't introduce themselves. They don't need to. You understand immediately. This is higher. You've been selected, one of them says. For what? Continuity. The word lingers. You're no longer just executing missions. You're shaping them. You review intelligence reports, approve operations, assign units. You decide who gets deployed and who doesn't come back. The first time you deny an extraction request, you hesitate. Just for a second. Then you press confirm. The system doesn't allow emotional delays. And neither do you. You start seeing patterns. Power isn't about action. It's about influence. You control outcomes without being present. You move pieces across continents. A politician falls in South America. A CEO disappears in Eastern Europe. A conflict escalates in the Middle East. You're not on the ground, but you're everywhere. That's when the isolation begins. No peers. No equals. Only subordinates and superiors. And even they remain distant. Conversations are brief, functional. Trust is conditional. Everything is recorded. Everything is evaluated. You start questioning your own thoughts, not because you're unsure, because you know someone else might be listening. Level 6, the authority. Your name, your designation carries weight now. Operations pause when you speak. Resources shift when you decide. You oversee entire regions. Asia Pacific, Eastern Europe, North Africa. Hundreds of operatives under your command. Thousands of assets. The scale is massive. So are the consequences. A single decision can destabilize governments or stabilize them. Depends on the objective. You don't receive orders anymore. You receive directives. Broad, strategic. You understand the end goal. And you do. But the path is yours to define. That's where the burden sits. Every failure traces back to you. Every success reinforces your position. There's no room for uncertainty. You become decisive, ruthless, efficient. You stop revisiting decisions. Once made, they're final. That's how you survive here. But something else changes. You stop feeling urgency. Not because things are calm, because chaos is normal. You operate above it now. Detached. Observing. Controlling. At least, that's what it feels like. Level 7, the architect. You no longer think in missions. You think in systems. Entire networks fall under your design. Financial flows, political leverage, information control. You don't just respond to the world. You shape it. You initiate events months in advance. You create conflicts that justify outcomes. You eliminate threats before they become visible. People don't know you exist, but they move because of you. That's real power. Invisible. Unquestioned. Unchallenged. But it comes at a cost. You trust no one, not even those above you, because you've seen how easily positions shift, how quickly loyalty dissolves. You maintain contingencies for everything. Backup plans for your own removal. Safe exits that you know you'll never use. Because there is no exit. Not at this level. You've built too much. You know too much. Leaving isn't retirement. It's erasure. So you stay. And you build. And you control. And you watch. Always watching.